Today, I'm reviewing Brother Ed Travels, who is a passport bro, and he made a pretty good video called F 'em and Fly, a passport bro speaks. This is something like part 2 of that video, okay? And he dealt with certain points, talking about the passport bro experience and how many people are just ignorant about what they're discussing when it comes to, pejorative language or being, rude and insensitive towards passport bros. And the second point that he talked about was the fact that many people think foreign women are weak, or black men are seeking out foreign women because they're weak and preying on women who are poor, okay? And pretty much without going to these countries and seeing how these women act, women in the United States, in particular black women who are having these conversations about passport bros, are pretty much stereotyping these women in negative aspects that are not fair. What I'd like to do right now is to play that part of the video and come back.
One that people love to chime in on, both men and women. Number one, how many of you have actually been to the country and met those women that you're talking about? I'd love to hear that. How many of you have been there? You bashing Brazilian women, Colombian women, Dominican women, Asian women. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been there? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. Number two, this is not so much a black man, foreign woman thing. It's a black culture here in America and a culture in that country. And I'll explain that. Number one, a huge amount of women here, not just black women, I'm not going to just say one group, but predominantly women here are raised to be independent. Have your own money, your own car, own house, all of that. Get your master's, your PhD degree, this and that, all of that. So all through her childbearing years and all of that, she's focused on a degree. And then after she gets all the material things, now it's time for her to fit a man in her life, to follow by her rules, her expectations, her demands. Whereas in a foreign country, culturally, from the time she's a little girl, she's raised to be a wife. Facts. She's raised to be a wife. Loving, nurturing, accommodating, cooperative. And for all those people that say, oh, these are weak women that they running over, calling them out their names. You ever go to Southeast Asia, you go to Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, and see how those Asian women work. They run all the food stalls, the restaurants, the massage parlors. They staff the hotels, the cleaning staff. They're the ones that are driving that economy. And to call them weak is just totally rude and disingenuous because you've never been there. They keep that country going and take care of their families. But that foreign woman is raised to be a wife. She's far from weak. Doctors, lawyers, all of that. But see, her idea of success and happiness in life is totally different from a lot of women here. I was watching a video of a woman that said that in order for a man to be with her and marry her, he had to buy her a $200,000 engagement ring.
What is the matter with you?
Seriously? Oh, if he can't take me to dinner that costs $400 at least, and he ain't driving this and he ain't making that, and he can't spoil me, because he's gonna have to buy my cooperation. He's gonna have to buy me being quote unquote submissive. He's got to earn that. That brother got to jump through all these hoops and meet all these demands before I become feminine at all. Really? Yeah, I'm sure you can find him. Plenty of them out here. I'm pretty sure you can find him. But for me, I'm gonna go somewhere where I'm welcomed, embraced, and appreciated.
So guys, he talks about some really good points there. The first thing he says, have you been to these countries in which you're insulting the women there? It would be the exact same thing if somebody talked about black women in the black community and they've never been there, they've never lived there, they maybe only seen them on TV. Would black women be offended by that? Sure, because you don't really know. Just like going to Africa or going to Uganda or Kenya. On TV, you would think it's something different until you actually go there and visit and you see what you can see for yourself. Then you can make a good assessment, but you can't really make it unless you go. So if you're making it before you go, then you're being ignorant, right? And what they're doing is they're mishapping, or they're misjudging rather, these women without even knowing them. And the second they talked about when they call these women weak, he makes a good point. Have you seen these women work? Do you see what these women do every day? They organize the markets, they organize hotels, they're organizing businesses. They're doing everything. They're working from morning to night. So if we're talking about work ethic, that work ethic is as strong as black women or women in America. The difference comes into the fact that, listen, they're working to be a wife. Being a wife is important. So them working is something that's important also, and it's great to work. But the fact that these women want to be married, that is the selling point. He's seeing a lot of sisters in America, when it's time for you to get, settled on what you want to do, you then want to fit a man into your life, into your time, and then let him play a third or fourth class citizen. And it used to be a case where that was, very prominent. But men of today are starting to say, hey, you know what? We don't really like that experience. We'd like to have something that favors us. So, and then also when a woman might be able to settle down and get married when she wants, she might be 30s or 40s or 50s. And for a lot of guys out there that might be in their 30s, 40s or 50s, they're typically looking for women like much younger, right? Typically how old? Childbearing years. So up to, 20 to 35. I don't know, I guess in that range. All right. And it probably doesn't matter what her success level is. That's what we're talking about. All right. Ideas of success are different. American women's success is, I'm not saying for all, but for, some in our community, is the high level of achievement that men have. Business, money, corporations, basically competing against men. Now, women still work in other communities and stuff like that too. But to be a wife, to be a family woman, is also important. It's not that important in America as it used to be. So then if you don't want to do that for a man, or you have a hard time doing that for a man, then why talk down on those same guys when in actuality, you're not interested in doing that? That's the point I also believe that the brother is making. All right. When these guys are going over there, they're looking for wives. Maybe not everybody, but they're looking for wives. Women that have permanent interest, and they're not looking to be, a fixture in somebody else's made life. Some men want to be men and they want to improve a woman's life because, and then have some kind of leadership in the relationship. This is what those women in foreign countries are allowing them to do. They still have the same work ethic, meaning that, hey, she still knows business, she still wants to work. At the same time, I know that my work and my work ethic is not going to be the same thing as what I do for my husband. And that's the point he's making. And guess what? So many people are mad. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again. Another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. We're out.